New product, Tom Sawyer Explorations, which will be released very soon. We will be running a live Q&A at the end of the webinar. If you have any questions, please feel free during the webinar to go ahead and add your questions in the chat window, and we will answer them after the webinar. And if you miss anything, don't worry. We'll be sending a recording of the webinar as soon as it's available. Well, hello, I'm Dr. Janet Six. I'm Senior Product Manager here at Tom Sawyer Software. And today we're going to look at Tom Sawyer Exploration that allows analysts to rapidly uncover insights through advanced graph intelligence, graph visualizations, and pattern matching, all without any need to code. This user-friendly product allows data professionals to seamlessly analyze data, navigate complex relationships, and generate actionable insights using this no-code platform. In today's webinar, we're going to show how to easily connect to your favorite graph database to support your use case. Tell the story of your data and gain insight with the user-friendly interactive graph drawing and inspector views. Explore connected data points with intuitive criteria selection, which enhances your understanding of complex relationships within your data, and how to leverage built-in graph analysis algorithms to uncover trends, understand network dynamics, and make informed decisions. So we have Tom Sawyer Explorations open here. And the first thing that we do is to connect to our data source. So as you can see here, we support connecting to Neo4j, Amazon Neptune with both Gremlin and OpenCipher. And we also support Janus Graph, OrientDB, and Cosmos DB. Today, we're going to be connecting to the Neo4j database. So we enter our connections and our login right here. And right now, Explorations is automatically extracting the schema for us. And so we are going to see here in the schema view the available element types as well as the element counts for each element type. So today we're looking at a database which contains sales information, including suppliers, customers, products, and more. So we are going to go ahead and select some of the items here in our schema, and we're going to use that to load initial data into Explorations. So I'm going to select supplier, product, and category, as well as the edges that connect them. And as you see, they're highlighted here. And now I'm going to click Run Query. And we see our query builder, which we use to load specific graph patterns. And so in this case, we are loading products with their category as well as their supplier. But before we do that, let's add a condition to our graph pattern here. We don't want to load just any product. We want to load those that we have in stock. So I'm going to select Product, right-click, and Edit. And we're going to add a new condition to our graph pattern. So we want to take a look here at the attributes for this particular product. So as you see here, we can see attributes such as reorder level, units in stock, and price, and so on. So where did this information come from? That comes from the schema that was automatically extracted right before our eyes here a couple of minutes ago. So Explorations is going to automatically load not only the model element types, but also the attributes for our data as well. So again, we want to look for products that we have in stock. And so we're going to select units in stock, and we want to make sure that we have a few items in stock. So I'm going to choose is greater than 5. So we want to choose the products where we have at least 6 or more items in stock. And I'm going to click OK. And so you see here how the little filter icon appeared here in the product node, and that tells us that we have applied a condition to this element. Okay, so now we're going to click OK, and we're going to load data that matches this graph pattern into Explorations. So we've successfully executed the query, and now we have loaded data, again, products, their related suppliers, and category. All right, so let's zoom in here a little bit. And so you can see more details about what we've loaded and also how they're connected to each other. Okay, now let's load a little bit more. So I am going to select product here, and we're going to do a load neighbors. And so we want to know more information about this product and where it's being ordered. So we're going to change this any item to find out which orders include this item. So I'm going to select order and click OK. Okay, so now we could stop here. We can just load orders that include this selected product, or we can find out a little bit more information, like who created the order. So let's go ahead and do that. So I'm going to select order, right click, add edge and node, and we're going to search for the customer and click OK. So now for our product that we've selected, we want to load the order as well as the customers who've placed those orders. And we click OK. All right. And we have now loaded those related items. And as you see, quite a bit was brought in, but it's information that is particular to our use case. Okay, and we also have the option to load neighbors without conditions. And so we can select one or more elements. So here I'm going to just select several elements, and we'll say load those neighbors. And so it loads those of any element type. Very good. All right, so now while we're here, let's go through our different layout styles. So we have a bundle layout where our edges are intelligently grouped together. And let me zoom into here. So with a bundle layout, we're able to have a more dense graph in a smaller space because the edges are intelligently grouped together. And as we can see, and let me zoom in just a little bit further here. We can also see at a glance a lot of information. For example, here with this particular product, we can very quickly see that there were a lot of orders for that product here. Okay, very good. All right, then we're going to go to circular layout, which is going to emphasize clusters which naturally occur in the topology of the graph. We have hierarchical layout, which is going to emphasize dependency relationships and flows. We have symmetric layout to see symmetries that naturally occur in the drawing. And then we return to our orthogonal layout, where the edges are primarily rendered with horizontal and vertical edges. So we can see a high precision drawing with a lot of information in a smaller space. Very good. All right, so let's go ahead and zoom in here to some of these nodes over here. So as we were showing earlier, we loaded those products and those related orders, and we can tell that a product is a green node and the order is a pink node here in this case, but it would be really good for us to have more information about this about these particular elements. And so we can update the node text to give us more information. So let's go ahead and do that. we are going to open our style window, and let's add some more information for our product node. So I am going to come over here to product, and we're going to keep showing the type name. It's interesting to see that this particular node is a product, but let's go ahead and add the product name in the second line. So I'm going to come over here and I'm going to choose the product name attribute. So, where do these attributes come from? Again, they came from that schema extraction that we did just a few minutes ago when we started Explorations. There's nothing that we have to do. Explorations loads that information for us. So I'm going to select product name, and we'll see how the node updated and shows the product name as well. So let's repeat that with the order name. And so we are going to get the order ID in this case. And so you see here, and I can zoom in a little bit further, how the node automatically updated to show the order ID as well. We also have options to update the colors as well. So you can update the colors of the nodes, background, and the border. So let's go ahead and complete the updating of the style of our nodes with the text. So we did order and product, and let's go ahead and do that for the last few model element types we have. That'll help us here as we continue on, and everything will have a little bit more information about the element. So for the category elements, we also want to show the category name. And for the customer elements, we also want to show the contact name, or excuse me, the company name. And we did order and product already. And then we have supplier, and we want to show that company name. Okay, great. So now all of our nodes are going to have more information about the element right there in the node. Okay. So we are going to take a closer look about some of the elements. So let's come over here and take a look at this part of the drawing. And so we have, for example, we have some order names over here, and we have different customer nodes, and we can see those customer names as well. But of course, there's more information in the database about these orders and these customers. So let's take a look at those. So we are going to open our detail window, and we can select any node, and our inspector will show us more of that information that we have. And anytime that we select a node or an edge, we'll have more information in our detail inspector over here. Okay, very good. Now, sometimes we need to see more or less information, or we need to see an overview of our graph, or we need to zoom in, or maybe sometimes you need to filter things in or out. So let's take a look at how we do this. So I just added the overview window here on the right side of the drawing. So here in the bottom right side of the drawing view, we see a visualization of the entire graph. And over here, we're still zoomed into the detail. And as we want, we can zoom in or out to different areas of the drawing. We'll zoom in here, and the overview shows us context of where we are in that entire graph. Okay, so let's zoom back out, and let's go ahead and now apply some filters. So we see here the filters that are based on our model element types. So right now in our drawing, we're showing all of our different model element types and all of our different edge types. But if we want, we can remove some of those elements from our drawing view. So I can, for example, remove our orders, I can replace those, I can remove customers, I can remove certain types of edges, and so on. So you get to pick and choose which elements you want to have in the drawing with as easy as a click of the button over here. All right, so now let's talk about analysis. So we have a graph here. We can continue to interactively load data based on our graph patterns, or we can load more neighbors by not applying particular conditions, but we still need to have an idea of, well, where should we look in this particular drawing? And so analysis can help us with that. So I'm going to open our analysis panel, and we have a few different types of analysis that are automatically available and included in Explorations. So the first thing that we'll do is apply clustering. So clustering is going to look for natural groupings in the drawing, and you can see how the node colors have changed. Let's zoom in. And we can see how elements are colored by their cluster number. Okay. Now we have another way to navigate through the different clusters in the drawing. So over here in our analysis result tree, we have all of the clusters which were just found in the analysis. And so we can click on a cluster and it will take us to that portion of the drawing. We also can open the cluster here in the analysis result tree. And if we want to go to a particular item, we can click that item and it will take us to that in the drawing. And let's try that again. And let's go find this particular order. And it'll zoom us right into that element. And so, for example, this is a particularly interesting order for us. We selected it from the analysis, and then if we wanted to see more details, we just open the detail window and we can see more information about that particular element. So we are able to, if we want, to open all of the clusters, and so at a glance, we can see which elements are in which cluster. All right, and if we want to collapse those, we can collapse that as well. Okay, so that is the clustering analysis. Right, so we're going to clear the analysis results. And so when I do this, notice how the node colors return to the ones that we had earlier. And now let's run a different type of analysis. So Explorations also includes centrality analysis. So we have several different types of centrality. We have degree centrality, which is going to show you the elements that have the most direct connections. We have closest centrality, which is going to show you the elements that are closely related to much of the graph. We have betweenness centrality, which is based on the shortest paths of the entire graph. And this will show us the nodes which are on the superhighway of information, or the ones that are very well connected overall in the graph, because they are on many shortest paths. And then we have eigenvector and PageRank centrality. And these two centralities are especially useful when you're doing social network analysis. So eigenvector centrality is based on who this person knows. PageRank is a little opposite. PageRank, we want to know who knows this person. And so if you have an element that has a higher importance because they know more important people, then you'll see that they have a higher centrality. So today we're going to apply degree centrality. And so you'll see here how some of the nodes got larger. So we can see the results now that give us the centrality importance based on the size of the nodes. So let's zoom in a little bit more here to this part of the drawing. And let's zoom in a little bit more. And so again, we can tell like, this is a particularly important node. This is moderately important. And these other order nodes are less important based on that degree centrality. And again, we can traverse our analysis results similar to the way that we did with the clustering results. We have the results here in the analysis tree. We can see which nodes are most important given our centrality. And if we want to, we can zoom in to important elements as well. Okay, so let's zoom back out and let's clear some our results. Okay, very good. All right, and let's zoom in here to this part of the drawing. So as you can see here, we today have connected to our graph database. We have loaded related data that is important for our use case through both query pattern matching as well as applying conditions so that we load particular elements, or we can load more elements without conditions. And we can do all of that without the need for coding. We also showed how to update the styling of the nodes so we can update the text which shows in the elements as well as the coloration. We also talked about how we can see more details for particular items by selecting them and showing information here in our inspector. And then we talked about how to use filters so that we can focus our drawing as we need for studying particular elements. And then we also discussed how to use analysis so that we are guided to the most important elements in our graph and how to navigate those results. So we appreciate you joining us today at our webinar. We're very excited to be releasing Tom Sawyer Explorations very soon. Please contact us today at tomsawyer.com to find out more about Tom Sawyer Explorations or to start your free trial as soon as Explorations is available. Also, please reach out to find out more about Tom Sawyer Perspectives, which is the graph platform that we used to build Tom Sawyer Explorations. You can also schedule a call with one of our graph and data visualization experts, and we can help guide you to the best solution.